Hello and welcome to episode number 302 of the Launch Lounge podcast. If your client roster is full, your waitlist is growing, and your students are getting results you couldn't even imagine when you first started, but you're still charging the same price you set years ago, this episode is for you. Today, we're diving into the question every course creator eventually faces. Should you raise your prices? You'll discover exactly how to know if it's the right time, the smart way to do it without scaring off your best clients, and how to make sure your audience sees your new price as a no-brainer investment. So stay tuned. Well, hello there. If you listened to Tuesday's episode, I have a snake update for you. Yes, on Tuesday, I told you that just before I hit record, I was waiting for the snake catcher to come to my house. On Sunday afternoon, my husband and my daughter Mila and I were sitting in the living room, and we heard something that at first I thought was maybe a mouse running in the roof. And then when I closed my eyes and I listened carefully, no, I could very clearly hear that it is some giant python, at least that's what my imagination tells me, slithering inside my roof. So I had the snake catcher come out yesterday. And it's very funny because it's this guy shows up at my front door and he's just exactly what you expect from an Aussie snake catcher. This rugged man with his snake catching tools and his beard and his ponytail. And even though it's the end of winter, he's tanned and he's ready to jump in the roof and go and catch the snake. It made all my expectations of that stereotype. I was delighted. Anyway, said snake catcher went into my roof, and what he did find is a lot of holes where snakes and mice and all those animals that are around here can go into my roof. And what he also found was plenty of snake poo. But he didn't find the snake. Now, I don't know if that's good news or bad news for me because it means it's definitely there, but he couldn't find it. And then at the end, I said, well, what do I do now? He goes, well, you know what? It's as it gets warmer and the weather warms up now, they're going to start coming out of hibernation. They're waking up. They're going to want two things. They want to feed and they want to breed. And I'm like looking at Odie, my little sausage dog, and I'm just thinking, I don't want a python feeding on Odie. I also don't want a python breeding in my roof. Thank you very much. We'll save that for National Geographic. But so he went, well, look, if you hear it again, just give me a call. I'll come and relocate it for you. Yeah, that's where we're at with the snake. So I'll let you know if there's, more episodes to the snake adventure. But, all those videos you see on Facebook of the crazy giant pythons in people's houses, 9 out of 10 of those videos happen right here in Brisbane. I had a friend who had a python hanging outside her kitchen window and he was having lunch. Yeah, that possum didn't see the end of that day, and she was very upset and her kids were very upset. So that stuff happens here, and we love it. We still love it. We love living here with all the snakes and the spiders, and why wouldn't we? Anyway, thought I'd give you an update on that. I'll give you an update if there's any more episodes to my snake story. So the other day I was scrolling through a couple of Facebook groups that I'm in, and someone posted an Alex Hormozi quote that was obviously in true Alex style, which you can love it or hate it, but you have to admire it, right? In true Alex style, it was a controversial statement. It was what I call a false dichotomy. He was comparing two things and making that the rule, and it's not. And you'll see when I explain a little bit more. But, it works because our brains love dichotomy. Our brains love black and white. Our brains love it when we say, if you have this problem, this is the solution, right? It's why, like in the previous episode, I said, it's why my it depends answer is not the sexy answer ever. And I would probably make more money if I said it depends less often. But, I'd rather make sure we get you the help you need at the time that you need it than walk around being a false dichotomy quote cliche. Maybe I'll make as much money as Alex if I didn't do that. Oh gosh, I couldn't live with myself if I talked like that all day. Anywho, so Alex is brilliant, 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 brilliant at what he does. And we have to acknowledge that what he does is an extreme version of something that we all need to do from time to time in some ways. Now, here is a part of the quote that he said, a part of it. There was a little bit more to it, but I'm not going to go into the whole thing. The quote that started this maybe argument or conversation this is Alex's words. I see businesses everywhere obsess over closing more deals when they should be obsessing over charging more money. I see businesses everywhere obsess over closing more deals when they should be charging more money. Now, for course creators, I've never met a course creator who obsess over closing more deals. That's more sales language. I hear that all the time in other sales environments. When I worked in sales environments, we talked about closing more deals. For course creators, we just talk more about making sales. And in our launches, how well we did in our launches. But there's definitely an element of sales that every course creator needs to be aware of and that every course creator needs to learn. There is a skill to selling. And unfortunately, we as course creators tend to steer away from that too much. And we and often by the time I start working with course creators, one of the things that I have to help them with is increasing sales and using sales language and how to convert more. But the dichotomy here that Alex is talking about is stop obsessing over sales, just increase your prices. And he makes it as simple as if you're getting yeses. You're getting too many yeses from your sales, then you need to increase your prices. If you're not getting any yeses, then you need to focus on increasing your sales skills. But if you're getting a lot of yeses, then it's time to increase your price. There's a balance. And I like the idea of that balance. I like the idea of knowing that there is, when you get a lot of yeses and you are a good salesperson, it is probably an indication that you should raise your prices, right? Because if your market is saying, yes, this is a no-brainer, yes, I absolutely want this, after you've taken them through a sales journey, and they are buying at a 80% rate, then probably you could increase your prices and you'll end up making more sales, but you will end up sacrificing the number of leads or number of sales, right? Now, I use a similar sort of thing when I talk to students and we look at the breakdown between payment plans and full pay. So when I look at your data and I see you have 80 or 90% of your students joining your course paying full pay, and only 20 or 10% paying payment plan, then that to me is an indication that you can increase your prices. Because if a lot of your market can afford your full pay, that means there's room for growth. You can probably increase your price. You will reduce the number of full pay students that you get, but you'll increase the number of payment plan students you get, but you'll make more revenue overall. All right, so you are meeting them halfway. Now, in this group with this conversation about Alex, some people said they love this whole idea. And of course, as with any false dichotomy, there's always people who are going to go straight to the opposite end of that spectrum and go, I don't believe we should just increase our prices. I'm just here to serve my audience and never increase my prices, which is lovely until you're broke, and then it's not quite as comfortable, right? So there's a balance that we need to strike. And I think both things can be true. And I think there's a space where we can explore beyond just what the numbers are saying, when is it the right time, or when is the right time to increase your prices? And it is not as black and white to the one extreme as raise your prices when you're making lots of sales, but it's also not as black and white to the other end of the extreme as don't raise your prices because you care about the people that you're selling to. And by raising your prices, you no longer care about them. That is also a false dichotomy, right? All right, so let's get real about this. Come with me and let's explore what you should consider, what you can think about when you consider whether or not it is time to raise your prices. Because let's face it, probably most of us avoid raising our prices for way too long. We tell ourselves, I'll wait until the next launch, until I add the extra module, or until I'm ready. But really, what's holding us back is fear, right? So today we'll discuss when really is the right time to increase your prices, how to know what's stopping you from raising your prices, and how to raise your prices in a way that not only feels good, but actually helps you increase sales and help your students get even better results. So let's start with something that sometimes holds us back, and that is the fear of losing customers. I want you to picture this. You've built a cozy little online membership. Maybe some of you don't need to picture this. Every month, your people show up. They log in for the trainings, they swap wins with the community, they learn, and they come to you for the things that challenge them. They lean on you when things get tough. But behind the scenes, you're doing the math, and the price hasn't changed since you opened the doors 2 years ago. And that's starting to hurt because every single price you pay to run your business has increased. Your time, your expertise, your costs, everything is going up. And that trickles down to what you're paying yourself. So what you're giving your family to live on, but 9 out of 10 of the bills your family's paying has also gone up. So your cost of living's gone up. Your cost of running your business has gone up. But your price hasn't gone up. And maybe you think if I raise the price, they'll leave. Or you think if I raise the price, I might not sell as many, right? But here's the thing. Your most loyal members are not sticking around because the monthly charge is $47 instead of $57. Or 97 instead of 147. They are here because that call you do with them, that is what gets them unstuck. They are there because that Q&A thread is where they get the answers they need in hours, not weeks. They are there because that community is the only place where they feel seen and understood. That number on their credit card statement is the least valuable part of the experience. What they are buying from you is the transformation. They're buying the confidence they feel right now. They're buying the progress that they've made, and hopefully you're helping them see that. They're buying the support they'd struggled to find somewhere else. They're buying you and your experience and your unique take on things. So think of it like a gym where you've built friendships and you know the trainers and you see results. I can very easily picture that because I'm in a great gym and I love it and I'll never leave, and it costs me an arm and a leg. If the price went up by $10 a month, would you leave? Not if you were, finally running 5Ks or finally feeling strong or surrounded by people who cheer you on that are also your friends, and that lights you up and fills your soul with positive stuff every time you go to the gym. Because the value is in the results and in the relationship, not in the digits in the invoice. If you're loving what we're covering today, I've got something special for you. Right now, and for a limited time, I'm creating exclusive bonus content for every single episode that goes way deeper than what we can cover here on the show. Think actionable worksheets, behind the scenes insights, and the tools I actually use to get these results. It's completely free, but it's only available to my email subscribers. If you want to get more actionable help and dive even deeper with me, the only way to get it is to sign up. Head to thelaunchlounge.com/podcast-freebie right now to grab today's bonus content and never miss future episodes' exclusive materials. So the truth is, your most loyal members aren't there because of the number on their credit card statement. They're there for the transformation. They're there for the support. They're there for the community. They're there for the feeling they get when they are a part of this community. And yes, you might lose some of the less loyal members. You might, because some people have disconnected. Some people aren't coming. Some people are like only sort of 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And that price increase is going to push them to a place where they have to make a decision. Am I in or am I out? And they might decide to be out. And that's okay, because you don't want a half in, half out energy in your membership or your course anyway. So raising that price, it's kind of like pruning a tree. Like you're cutting off the dead limbs. That's a horrible metaphor for humans, but you know what I'm saying. Okay. So I hope this helps you think a little bit differently about this fear of losing students when you increase your price. The second one is you might have a fear of pricing yourself out of the market. And that kind of touches on not making as many sales. When I did a bit of research for this episode, this fear came up as one of the number one fears among entrepreneurs. And I considered deleting it from the show because I don't really believe in pricing your courses or your products according to other people in the market. Course creators, I feel we don't really have competition. We can price according to who we are and our own experience and according to where we sit in a market based on runs we have on the board. Right? And then people have a choice. I'll never forget when I saw Marie Forleo selling a time management course, and I don't remember the exact price, but I feel like I remember off of the top of my head that it was $3,000. And I thought, that is absolutely ridiculously insane. But you know what? She's Marie freaking Forleo. She was first person to really succeed in this industry. She gets to charge that and people will pay that. Do you know if I created a time management course and put a $3,000 price tag on it, how many people are going to buy? Yeah, not many. Not many. So don't use your competition to price your products anyway. But if this is a fear for you, I want you to lean in even harder right now, because I think by the end of the show, you'll know exactly what to do to prevent this from happening. Fear number 3 is this delightful, lovely, lovely thing that pops up in every entrepreneur's life called imposter syndrome. It's the who am I to be, insert whatever. Who am I to be, insert however many things you want to insert there. And at the heart of this is a worthiness misconception. It's a worthiness belief that we have. For years, this one crippled me. I'd sign up the biggest name client I could ever imagine. And it's like all my experience and belief in my own results that are black and white on my website, like literally I can show you the numbers, I can show you the testimonials, I can show you the credentials, would fly out of my emotional doors. And I would have this subconscious desire to please this person and to be seen as the expert that I am. And that fear drove every decision I made. And it made me question every little communication that came from them, every question they had, everything. Everything was always about proving my worth to them. It's ridiculous. After 3 years of therapy, I can see that it's ridiculous. I was constantly in fear of being found out. Even if I knew I know more about running ads for course creators than, like, you can wake me up in the middle of the night and I'll be able to run ads for course creators. Even if I considered raising my prices at the time, there was no way I would have been able to do it. That voice that says, who am I to charge more? It's often more about your identity lagging behind your actual results. I want to say that again so you really hear it. It is about your identity and how you see yourself lagging behind your actual results. Remember, you've been living with that identity for years, but your results might only be a few years old. Plus, your identity, or at least this false belief of your value or lack of worthiness, is designed to persist. Despite having external results that prove otherwise, your brain is programmed to keep you safe. And part of that is your brain saying, hold on, stay back. Do not put yourself out there where it's dangerous and you might get rejected. But it's not based on reality. It is based on the BS that our little monkey minds are programmed to keep pushing into our consciousness. So unless we learn to interrupt that appearance in our consciousness and bring it to awareness, and then just let it be there, it is going to keep writing the scripts of our lives for us. Fear number 4 is negative feedback, fear of negative feedback. Now, I know the first thing, if I tell someone to increase their price, the first thing they say is, my students are not going to like that. I'm going to get snotty emails. Yeah, you might. You might. And I'll say this, nobody likes feeling rejected. And goodness me, as course creators, we do a lot of things that put us in the line of fire of rejection, right? If you posted on social media today, man, you're brave. Sometimes, unfortunately, we connect things like unsubscribes, money back requests, unfollows, student cancellations, or launch results that are not exactly what we wanted them to be personal rejection. And I tell you this from personal experience. I get it. It can feel that way, but it isn't the truth. You'll get a couple of unsubscribes or an angry DMs, sure, but the students who stick around, they're the ones you want. They're the ones you need to pay attention to. So if that fear pops up for you, what if I get rejected? What if I get nasty emails? What if I get DMs? What if people accuse me of being a money grabber? I want you to ask yourself, like, is that really true? Is that really the truth about you? Or are you running a capitalist business in a capitalist society where you have to pay bills and your kids have bills, right? If you are a money grabber, don't do that. But if you're just an honest entrepreneur making a living so you can build something that you hand down to your family, so you can build something so that you can afford whatever the thing is your kid needs, go for it. Fear number 5 is the fear of it's not enough to justify that increase. This is a mistake that I made. I increased the prices of my membership and I added so much additional content to that membership. I loaded it up with everything I ever created. But unfortunately, I didn't take the time to build it in a way that my students can work their way through the content methodically. So 6 months later, I started losing members faster than I gained them. And when I launched with the new price, I got crickets. Everything was confusing and students didn't have a clear plan to follow and they couldn't find the content they wanted. Even the long-term members started emailing me and saying, "Where's that thing again? I can't find that thing. I knew it was there, but I can't find it." I thought by increasing the price, I had to increase the volume of the content. You don't need to triple the content to justify the price. In fact, you can probably take some things away and increase the price. The value your student gets is in the results, not in the amount of content you put in your course or your membership. So as we wrap this up, I want you to know that your prices should grow as your impact grows. Your transformation that you provide is priceless. So I want you to stop pricing it like it's a clearance sale. Price it with confidence. And maybe this week is the week where you sit down and you just ask yourself, is it time for a price increase? And if you feel, yes, it's time for a price increase, then ask yourself, okay, what does that look like? What can I do to increase my price and feel fully aligned with this new price? You have built something that changes lives. You've done the work, you've refined your craft, and you've helped people achieve results they once thought were way out of their reach. That is not an accident. That is who you are combined with your hard work. And from this moment forward, you're not the coach who second guesses her worth, or the course creator who forgets that her worthiness is not connected to her course. You're the leader who owns her value and charges accordingly. I want you to picture your next launch. Fewer students, but higher revenue. More space to serve deeply and the freedom to focus on what lights you up. See the faces of your dream clients, the ones who show up, who do the work and get the results, and that make you proud of putting your name on it. You're stepping into that identity of the business owner who prices from transformation, not from fear. Someone who knows that every dollar invested in your program is one step closer to your student's dream and yours. And as you move forward, you'll raise your prices with confidence and with clarity and with zero apology, because your freedom empire deserves nothing less. Join me again on Tuesday when I'm going to share with you the one funnel test that will tell you if your audience is ready to buy even before you launch. I'll see you on Tuesday. Bye. I absolutely love seeing where you tune in every Tuesday and Thursday. Whether you're listening while walking the dog, during your morning coffee, or at the gym, I want to see your setup. Snap a quick photo of where you're listening right now and either email it to podcast@thelaunchlounge.com or share it on your Instagram stories and tag @the_launch_lounge. It seriously makes my day to see our community in action, and I love featuring you. Thanks for being here, and I'll catch you on the next episode.